Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Iowa soccer supporters. It's the big day. I'm Ben Brackett, your Soccer Talk
my
co-host.
goodness.
Good
Holy
Lord.
cow.
We got a game winner, Ben.
That is an
Sorry to interrupt you.
absolute screamer. And we couldn't, you literally
Classic.
could not draw
That was
this up.
classic, guys. So, okay, literally doing our intro. I was about to say I'm here alongside my good buddy Blake Siebers, my co-host here for Soccer Talk, and then we've also got Matthew Saheg, the Titan
get to the
tactician.
action, Ben. Let's get to the
Let's get to
action.
the action. I'm sorry, just letting everybody know we're here. We're
You're flustered. I love it.
I am. No, we're kind of finishing up the day here. We've been watching games all over the place, and we were trying to catch the end of this Gilbert-Knoxville. It's 1-1 in double overtime, and Gilbert's won it with an absolute absolute banger.
Right off the kickoff for
Right
the
off the
second half.
kickoff for the second OT.
Overtime, yeah.
Goes out wide, a little Aaron Robin-esque, except he's on his right foot. He cuts inside and whips one to the back post in the top corner. The keeper's stuck with his feet on the ground. Knoxville Panthers' historic season comes to an end. So, Blake, hi.
Man,
How
I
are
don't know
you?
what to do right now. Like, this is unbelievable.
I love it. Well, the only thing that would have been better, honestly, right, is if we were in person.
Yeah, but we were also like,
If we were at the fields, and all everybody was hanging around to try and catch the end of this game, I bet it would have been crazy. That's the one thing we're missing right now. But we're having a great time today, aren't we?
Well, just on that point, though, remember, this is one of the later games, right? So the 7 o'clock fixtures would have ended. And so what happens traditionally at County is everyone just kind of maneuvers over to the game that really matters. So this thing would have been jam-packed.
Yeah, that would have been great. Regardless, we're here. We're at the Kick It Forward Lounge.
Birch Lane Ultra Lounge, Ben.
Yeah, there you go. We'll see. We may be back tomorrow for the girls' games because it sounds like we're going to get some weather. But right now, let's talk about the boys' game. Siebes, we had a little visitor for 1A, didn't we?
We did. Cody Waddell jumped in, friend of the pod.
Yeah, he's going to be our 1A expert for the week. And so here, let's just jump in right now with his report for the evening. All right, we're here with Cody Waddell. Cody, how you doing this evening?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
Good. Sorry for mispronouncing your name in our little pre-interview here.
No,
I
you're
get
good.
a hard time from the peanut gallery over here. Thank you for joining us tonight. Everybody's dealing with this whole regional quarterfinal situation, so we appreciate you getting some eyes on a couple other games for us.
Yeah, no problem. It's been fun.
All right, tell us about the debacle you had for the 5 o'clock kickoff.
So the 5 o'clock kickoff, the
Was
live stream for the West Central Hudson game wasn't working. I think it was the only one that was through Huddle, but it just never popped up. It said gave an error for the entire game, so I had to get some updates through some FaceTimes and stuff like that.
Got it. So in full transparency here, we're doing this during the Roosevelt Ankeny game. And
Something just happened.
what happened, boys?
Ankeny just missed a sitter to go up 3-1, so it's still 2-1.
Okay.
Sorry, we're all in this right
Nope,
now.
I get it.
What do you have? You got DCG going there.
Yeah,
right now
DCG's, they're about to start the second overtime.
against,
This is against Cedar Rapids, Washington.
and it's 2-2.
2-2, yep.
All right, keep going. Sorry, this might be how it goes.
What's the inside? What's the inside scoop with Hudson West Central Valley?
So it,
Oh, two right here. First five, last five.
First five, last five.
yeah, so it sounds like it was a pretty defensive game, but Hudson came out at the first half. They scored inside 5 minutes on a corner kick, got a free runner, and then their second goal came in the first minute and a half of the second half. Sounds like there was like some sort of defensive communication mishap for West Central, and Hudson bared it. And I don't think West Central had too many shots. I think Hudson's defense was pretty solid today.
Kind of too bad for West Central Valley, right? Beat Pella Christian there in the what do they call it? Sub-state finals. Yep. But good little season, right?
Yeah, that was actually their first loss of the season.
Okay.
Was to Hudson. I think they had a draw against Des Moines Christian and then wins against everybody else.
All right, so then you watched another 1A game, St. Albert against Regina, which was in Urbandale.
Yes. And that was a really good game. Regina won 1-0, and it was the goal was it was a 49-yard goal. Like he collected, I don't know, I don't have the player, but he collected the ball at the half line, took 2 touches, picked his head up, and saw that the keeper was like almost at the 18, and he just ripped a shot and buried it. And like you couldn't even see the goal on the live stream, but it was a wonderful shot. And then they just played lights out defense.
Oh, well, that totally kills my prediction for 1A Cody because I had Council Bluffs St. Albert because they're
I did see that they looked good. They couldn't
how was their
score.
guy up top, their striker with all the
He
goals.
he he didn't get the finish is pretty much what it was. I mean, Regina was very solid defensively and it didn't give him many opportunities, but I mean, I think St. Albert's had more shots.
Fair enough. Now, did you watch any other games tonight?
I watched the Bishop Healing game. They played Dubuque Waller.
Bishop Heelan's been sliding into our DMs because they don't think we're giving him enough respect. It sounds like that might be the case, actually.
They also look good. They won in overtime, I believe. Um,
I saw that going to overtime, and I wanted to kind of like chirp our guy who was sliding into DMs and be like, "How's it
yeah,
working out?"
yeah. No,
That didn't
they
work
did
out.
look good. I think Dubuque Waller they kind of poured it on at the end, and I really thought that they were going to get the goal in overtime because towards the end of the second half they had a lot more chances, but Bishop Healing just hung around and I guess got the goal they needed, right?
Well, I'm sure I'll be corrected if I get this wrong, but if I recall, they were quite good last year and win those 1 goal games and those sort of like they won a couple games in overtime, at least 1 game in overtime, I would say, if I recall
Which
correctly.
you know,
My dude's gonna get back to me, I'm sure, and let me know. I am.
you're definitely gonna hear it.
Real quick, 1A. So West Sioux beat West Liberty 2-0,
Yeah.
and then Van Meter won 1-0. You are kind of whether you like it or not, you're going to be our 1A expert now.
No, that's totally fine.
About 1A soccer than all of us combined. So give us we did our predictions. Now we'll give
So
a little heads up because you only have to pick one of four. Who's
I
winning 1A?
I did see your guys' predictions, and I actually agreed with both of you. The winner of the Van Meter North Fayette Valley game, I thought was going to win. Van
It
Meter's very
goes 1-0 to Van Meter, and it was a rematch
yeah
of last year's title game, right? So
yeah, and
Fayette Valley, Fayette Valley. Expect to
last
be
year's title game was very fun. Van Meter just kind of got caught awkward on a couple goals, and that was pretty much it. They're so good defensively, and they're so good in the air. I think they struggle a little bit sometimes to finish. But they're just such a good team in 1A. I mean, they're going to be tough to beat. I don't see anyone beating them.
interesting. You heard it here first, guys. I'll finally sticking his neck out instead of us. Calling Van Meter.
Yeah, I really hope I'm not wrong there, but I think they're just a very good team.
Well, it'll be interesting. I think West Sioux will have something to say about that based on the game we saw them play. And it'll just be interesting to see how everybody gets reseeded after this first round.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we know when that's going to happen? Like when we find out
I
who
think
they
it goes
play?
on sometime tonight. I just don't know when. So hopefully we'll maybe before we get off the broadcast tonight, we'll have some answers to that. But otherwise, we'll see tomorrow, I
Because
suppose.
I think Van Meter was the 6th seed.
They were definitely complaining that they weren't seated high enough.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
they're gonna have to do some work.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I could see them. I mean, the 8th seed was West Central, so I think if they reseed, it'll probably be Hudson and Van Meter, right?
Yeah.
I think that'll be a really good game.
And that'll be on Wednesday, down at MediaCom Stadium at either noon or 2:30. Again, we don't really know, but those are the Class 1A semis, noon and 2:30 on Wednesday, June 4th at MediaCom.
Right on. Well, Cody, we thank you for your time and effort. Are you gonna come visit us on Wednesday?
Absolutely, I'll be there.
I love it.
I'm hoping to make it by the kickoff for the first game, but if not, I'll be there sometime in the first half.
Beautiful. We'll look forward to your insight then, but also let's give a quick shout out to your Olive and York top right
Oh
there.
yeah,
I like
Oh,
that.
always. I love Olive New York. They're my guys. They actually, when I was coaching, we got them set up for our high school team to be the kit sponsors for the high school team.
Very
They're
cool.
wonderful.
Awesome. Well, shout out to Michael Schaefer out there at Alvin York.
Absolutely.
And big shout out to Cody Waddell. Thank you. We'll chat with you here coming up in the next couple days.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Cody. All right, Steves, let's slide into the 2A action. If you were with us at the beginning of the episode, you know that we were, I wouldn't say rudely interrupted, happily interrupted by a glorious goal from the Gilbert Tigers to advance themselves through the semifinal.
The Doc,
Mediacom.
yeah, the Doc led his team back, didn't he, BJ?
He sure did. BJ Jordison with a 2-1 victory for Gilbert over
Are we gonna
Knoxville.
go? Yeah, are we gonna go? Should we skip down to 3A, Ben? Or are we gonna stay in 2A?
I think we just stay in 2A because
Okay,
that's where
we don't
we're
know
at.
one of the results, so
Which result don't we know?
we don't know how Sioux Center did against Webster City.
We have here on the update, we
Okay,
have
love
Webster
it.
City up 1-0, and okay, good. So great, we'll get there. So Webster City won 1-0 over Sioux Center on penalties. So Webster City, home of a kick it forward mini pitch, will go on to play Gilbert. Well, actually, no, we don't know that.
No.
Here,
Yeah, they
geez,
are. No.
shambles.
So yeah, you were right, Ben. Gilbert does play Webster City, and this brings up the reseeding, right? Because Gilbert's number 1, Webster City's number 7, and then Bishop Heelan knocked off Wahlert 2-1. So Bishop Heelan is the number 2 ranked team in the state.
And then they'll take on Williamsburg.
Yep, who beat Burlington Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, as some people say, 2-1.
All right, well, let's just give a little shout to Bishop Heelan real quick. Sioux City Bishop Heelan, the defending state champions from last year, which we may have inadvertently said incorrectly the other day. Correct? I believe that. Also, Bishop Heelan, very tough to beat, coming out 2-1 on top in OT. We got a little, somebody slid into our DMs, let us know that we were way off on that, even though we were going for Gilbert all the way. Steves, what do you think about that?
I love it.
I love it.
Keep jumping into the DMs. We saw you. I don't know. We don't want to call people out, but we appreciate the feedback. You jumped in on our survey, I think, as well. So it was great. Love it, and keep it coming.
Yeah, right on.
For real.
And yeah, absolutely. And good luck to Sioux City Bishop Heelan. They're going to be tough to beat. Looking for a little back-to-back action. Which,
Come to the Kick It Forward tent.
Yeah, we'll hook you up.
Yeah,
We
we'll
got
got some
tickets.
swag for you.
We got some swag. Yeah, right on. So yeah, well, it'll be interesting. We got Williamsburg there. I guess best known for somebody like me as the home of the Outlet Mall there. Although, who's our friend from Williamsburg, Sievers? Travis Gorush, right? He's from
Gorsh.
Gorush. Wow.
Definitely
He's from
Gorsh.
Williamsburg.
Iowa Foundation.
Yep.
Does a lot of great things. That's a good shout out, Brack. I like that.
Yeah, digging deep. So we'll go Gilbert Webster City, a little North Central action in the semifinal, and then Williamsburg Bishop Heelan. Just a short little note here on Bishop Heelan, Dubuque Wahlert, right? Bishop Heelan up there in Wahlert. I'm sorry, Bishop Heelan way up there in Northwest Iowa and Sioux City area, and then Wahlert in Dubuque over there on the Mississippi River. Also, I mean, I don't know, how could you possibly be further away
from each other?
Yeah, I just think it's like crazy that they got a chance to play. Just like
come down to Des Moines.
That's right. There's
Road
my
to the
shout.
Com. We need to come up with something, boys. You got anything but Road to the Com? We gotta call
road
some-
to the road to MediaCom. I think we'd start there.
That's okay. All right.
All right, man. All right. 1A, 2A in the books. That'll be on Wednesday. We'll see the 1A semifinals. There you
March
go.
to MediaCom.
The March to MediaCom.
So yeah,
Wednesday.
noon. So Ben, let's go back really quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you,
please.
but we finally have game times. Kickoff. So Iowa City Regina at noon on Wednesday against Van Meter, and then after that, approximately 2:30, Iowa Hudson against West Sioux.
And then for 2A?
We don't have kickoff times yet.
Okay, fair enough. But
I guess we have kickoff times. We just don't know who's playing who.
Yeah, so
But
5
it's
and
at 5 and
7:30
7:30.
are the semifinal times. And then you've got Gilbert, Webster City, and Williamsburg, Bishop Heelan. That'll be great. 3A was pretty exciting, wasn't it, Siebes?
Yeah, I think going into it, you have the top 8 teams that were ranked made the state tournament. And then you want to talk about almost chalk, but give a little shout out to the Titan tactician who called it.
I was going to
Penalties.
say, let's introduce him again because we just did a quick intro for Matthew at the beginning. Titan, hello. How are you? Welcome to the pod. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hosting.
No problem. Yeah, I mean, I've been right on some picks and dead wrong on other picks, so I'm sure we'll get to those.
So it goes. So 3A, we've got Cedar Rapids, Washington, DCG, 2-2 at full time, and Cedar Rapids, Washington comes through in penalties, and we had a little drama there, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about the first penalty taker for Washington? Guess who it is?
It's the goalkeeper. And we've seen this before, haven't we?
Yeah,
It's a huge gamble, isn't it?
I'll never forget that one because it was Waukeeth Northwest, and his goalkeeper had been chirping the whole game. Again, this is a county game,
So everybody's up close, so you can hear it all.
Right, we're standing right behind him, and he's just chirping the whole game. And he was a good goalkeeper, but he was a cocky goalkeeper, and he stepped up first to take the penalty, and he misses, and then Northwest goes on to lose in a shootout. Right? Was that to who
It was
was
the
that?
semifinal against Dowling.
Oh, semifinal against Dowling.
Or
Okay.
Ankeny Centennial, maybe too. I don't know. It was. I just remember it was on that field.
Nah, that was a couple of years
6 or
ago, so
7.
it wasn't against whatever it was.
Regardless.
Goalkeeper shot first.
Yes, which is unique to begin with, right? Goalkeepers getting to shoot in the first 5 is
Well-
not normal.
No, I mean, if he first of all, if he makes it, okay. If he misses, you totally destroy the boy's confidence.
But see, and this is where I think
But
is
that's
interesting.
what happened against Northwest, right? The goalkeeper
Yes,
missed.
Correct. Yeah, he missed, and then he went on to get scored on multiple times. And on the other hand, here, Cedar Rapids, Washington, the goalkeeper comes up. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Not a great penalty to his left low, but good enough because the keeper didn't save it. And then he turns around, he stuffs a couple, and
They made 2
through.
great saves.
Two
the
great
the
saves.
first save was really good, getting down low.
Yep.
Really good.
What was Washington seeded?
I think they were the 8 because DCG was the 1. So
Washington, yeah, you're right, Ben.
And then right, so who was the 2-7? Wait, no.
Liberty versus Hoover.
Well, let's just jump down and talk about that one real quick. Hoover with the big story, right? Starting the year pretty hot, but then losing all those wins to some rules violations. We've heard from different guys on the pod. Some people think they should have just been done for the year. Others just think it's sad. I don't know, whatever. There's all sorts of feelings on this, but the reality is I think Iowa City Liberty definitely could feel a little punished essentially by having to play Hoover because Hoover, one of the top teams in the state, they state runner-up last year, and they were off to a hot start this year to start the
Yeah,
year.
they hosted them at Iowa, even though it was in town. It wasn't at their home, which is interesting, right? We were talking to Matt a
best
little
place
bit.
to play in Iowa City is at the University of Iowa. And that was, I mean, Harding was all about that, right?
He was, and the Waldrons at Van Meter think they got the best place. So I don't know.
Well, fair enough. So that one goes to penalties. Hoover and Iowa City Liberty. Hoover doesn't hold their resolve.
I
Iowa
love
City
the-
Liberty goes through.
I would call that an upset still, though. Don't you think? I mean, just
I would, yeah.
If Hoover doesn't get all those games taken away, aren't they the 1 seed? I don't know.
Yeah, they're the 1 or 2.
Right.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
So
I
I think that's an upset, and I'm happy about it because I feel strongly that Hoover should not have been in the event, but because of what happened. But so I mean, I think that's the right result.
I love the celebration, by the way. Remember how this big issue is, I won't get into it, but like there's been some talking points at county for people when they celebrate what they do. Iowa City Liberty obviously was a big moment and a big win. Celebrations were good, and I'm glad nothing happened. It was great. Let the kids be kids, students be students. It was awesome.
Are you saying that somebody rushed the field?
I did not say that, and because that's definitely not what happened, but I promise you that. But it was good. I like it. So we go to the 3-6 matchup,
So
Ben.
what did happen? I
You know,
must have missed that, and so I can't understand what happened.
people
With that
like
explanation.
So it was.
People
it
were
was
on the field.
Yes, they were on the field.
Oh,
Maybe
so
they didn't
it was
rush
a
the
good
field, but
It was a
Celebrate.
great. Yeah, it was great. Like, and I'm glad nothing. Like nobody needed to say anything. Nothing needed to happen. This is what it should be. Like it shouldn't be a talking point, but it unfortunately has been because of
And
recent
Seavers,
trends.
to be fair,
Russians.
right? It's a late winner, right? It's ultimately
Yeah.
like an end of the game winner. So like, very similar to the situation you're talking about. Her referencing at Johnston, at County, with Johnston a couple years ago. and they got
Well, right, but then Iowa State Liberty. Remember the issue
there
last
was
year?
that too. Yeah.
Players on the field when they scored against Prairie. Same thing, like
So it's a
again,
thing.
yeah. It's it. I mean, Liberty's got a problem, maybe, Matt. people storming the field when they score late winners. I like it. Anyways, let's move on, Ben.
Urbandale Spencer, the Jayhawks.
Well, you want to go? You want to go 4-5? Or you want to go 3-6?
I want you to tell me which I'm doing.
Let's go Urbandale Spencer since you brought it up.
Good man.
The 4-5
2-0 Jayhawks
at home.
At home. Matt, I mean, you and I were on that.
Yeah. We had both said. I think we actually both picked Urbandale to win it all, haven't we?
I think we did.
So that's a solid result. I mean, if you look at some of these games, in terms, I mean, 2-0, you get the shutout at home, looking good. So I like that pick still.
Fair enough. We haven't heard from our little birdie in Urbandale yet. Seabass, have we, Seabers?
No, but it was 1-0, and then is that right that he texted that said it went 2-0 really quick?
Real quick, yeah, right after halftime, I believe.
There's both in this. I mean, again, this is interesting because you don't really know what happens, but Urbandale says it was 2 second-half goals, which I think might have been correct. But
all right, well, let's hop back to it. Let's talk 4-5, the battle of the purple squads.
3-6, 4-5, same kind of thing.
Touche.
Central Iowa matchup.
Central Iowa matchup, south side of Central Iowa matchup. The Warriors matchup, the purple matchup, Norwalk against Indianola. And we thought Indianola might be a little bit of a Cinderella, didn't we? But Norwalk.
Beat them again, second time this year.
Yeah, and Norwalk, I mean, they're a perennial powerhouse. They always make it to the state tournament. They're gamers. They always play well. Unlucky for Indianola and Heathcliff.
Does this just
done
open
well.
up? Does this? I mean, you want to talk about reseeding, right? We talked about it briefly at the last pod. So Washington, Cedar Rapids, Washington knocks off the number 1 seed. Now they have to play the number 2 seed
Yikes.
in Liberty.
That's a tough day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And then Norwalk, Urbandale playing the other semi on Thursday.
Anything else to touch on here? How do we feel? Urbandale's still alive, Saheg, so I think we're good there. Seabers, who was your pick?
It was the Mustangs, Colin Lane, man. Unfortunate.
What is Urbandale ranked?
4th.
4th. Okay.
All right.
John Mullins there, right? Coaching there, and
Well, there you go. It makes a lot of sense. Big time 4A move now. Let's go do it. I'm just going to start us off with because I got chirped all over on the social media for picking my Valley Tigers. When was the last time they lost, guys? Can you look that up for me quick? I'm just asking. I'm not
literally
sure.
March. I will say it. It's got to be
Okay,
March.
it's March.
First game. It's got to be March.
And how many goals have they given up this year? Like, I'd be curious about that one too.
Where did the results go? I
So
picked
that-
3 of these 4 games incorrectly.
Well, that's rough.
The only one I got right was Ankeny over Roosevelt. I think I picked them, didn't I? Yesterday or 2 days ago. But yeah, I missed on Valley, I missed on Johnston, and I missed on Ames. I think that's the most shocking result out of all 3 of them. I think in terms of like the win, I would have thought Iowa City would have won that one, even though Ames has had good results. Obviously, the most shocking result is Johnston Dowling at 5-0, and it was 3-0 at halftime. So, and then I think, you've got Valley, just a solid 3-0 victory against Valley.
Brackett,
Pleasant
give us a
Valley,
little
too.
feedback off Valley, your Tigers.
I mean, they gave up 1 goal to Hoover this year. They gave up 1 goal to Bettendorf. They gave up 1 goal to Sioux City North, 1 goal to Linn-Mar, 3 to Southeast Polk, which is shocking, and 1 to Ankeny. That's it.
But then what? Catalan scored, Mirsky scored, Mendez scored.
Oh, sorry. I was just,
Sorry.
correct.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I was just, that was where I left it last, was let's see how many goals they've given up. They haven't lost since March.
I think that's a big
They're on a
win,
bit of a
right?
tear.
We talked about. I mean, Wayne.
Pleasant
Ward
Valley's
was
a game team,
yeah.
right? Like, they always come up with a good setup. Wayne Ward has a good defensive scheme. They're tough to beat.
I'm impressed. I think that would be. I would say after. I think that's I was impressed. That's a very good win for the
So
Tigers.
we'll leave it with the comments. Who's the most critical Valley Tiger? I am, I promise, all day long. And rarely do they deserve to be there, but this year they do. Let's go, Z's. Get them sorted. Was this number 7 coming your way, hopefully? Or 6? Either way. The boys don't like it when I get all orange and black on them.
Yeah,
so
let's go to the next game.
let's talk drags then, since we'll just defer.
Yeah, again, they call me a homer, and I'm just a realist.
I mean, same,
two-time
right?
state champions. You can't pick against the Dragons. They've got it figured out, rocking and rolling. I mean, that's a massive statement win. That's essentially PSG Inter Champions League final. I mean, Mendez doesn't score.
Mendez hardly touched the ball.
I know. It's you want to talk
So
about
finally
game
somebody
plan.
figured it out, though, didn't they?
So, okay,
Yeah,
so
you score
I'll say
5
this.
and you
I
win.
couldn't really watch the game because Johnston's feed was messed up. So we had, it was online, right? And they must have had some sort of camera on the field. It was like AI driven or something because it kept on switching back and forth. And so you couldn't follow the play. Not that there was much to follow other than Johnston scoring a lot of goals, but I didn't like it.
Could be a
It was
talking
tough.
point.
I think everyone didn't like it here.
Yeah. 'Cause when it was a little bit outside of a little zoomed out or normal, it was really good.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. I mean, talking point. It's got to be
Dowling just did not look up for it entirely, and defensively they were not great.
I'm surprised the game went the length it did. Actually,
You're thinking you're going to see a little 10-0?
it's a red card. There's a red card.
You would have thought at 3-0 someone just kicked somebody and they just end the game early.
That's true. We did
Not
see that
condoning it,
happen.
but could have
We
happened.
did see that happen. Referee might have missed one.
He's right there though. He's
right
in
in
a
front of
very
him.
good spot.
That was towards the end of the game, though.
I think he knew. He knew
the
he didn't
situation
want to end.
too,
And
right? Red
I
card
think
ends
it's.
the season,
I do.
they end
I
the
would.
game early.
I would give him credit. I mean, one. It
For
depends how
keeping
you
the
want to do it.
spotlight off of him, for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends, right? Do you want to be by the book or not? I say it's a great player-centered decision because
Well
you don't want to end it.
Well done from the referee.
I thought so, but again, if you want us to be by the book, it's got to be a sending off.
No, I think
the season ends.
I think it's well done by the referee, although not well done by the Dowling player. Didn't love that.
I think that's a red all day long. And the game. I mean, look. I would love to say I hate the 4 red card rule. I think it's totally wrong. But that was a red card. The game should have ended.
Yeah, that would have been a heck of a way to end it with a down 5-0, getting a red card with 10 minutes left, and they just end the game. That might not have gone over great, but so I think the referee did well. But Matt's point, well, to keep just to
Player-centered decision.
correct. Yeah, I think he did well.
I can also see how the referee missed it because it was
quick,
Yeah.
yeah.
it was super quick, and
But
we had
look
the
at the
benefit of
Johnston
looking
boy.
back at it.
Johnston boy right away went over and asked for the card.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not the one that got kicked in the head because his face he was in pain, but his buddy next to him just asked for a card.
All right, well,
So well done, Jimbo.
Tigers and
Sorky.
Drags will be on opposite ends of the bracket. The Tigers will take on the winner of the Ankeny Roosevelt game.
So can I just understand this? Let's just say that they weren't reshuffling the brackets. What would the games look like?
Well, I don't know.
Well, hold on. Let's get there.
I just
Let's
wanna
get-
know this.
We'll
get
answer
there.
that question. Give us some time to research that. But let's talk about the
Well
other
played,
two
Seavers.
games to
Thank
even
you.
know who they're playing.
It would be Valley
It
Johnston.
would be Valley Johnston.
That's
So
insane.
Ankeny Roosevelt is the next game. Roosevelt was the 2 seed, and we expected them potentially to roll the Hawks. Landon Benj was not having it for the Hawks. They won 3-1, and unfortunately, Roosevelt sort of, I would say they sort of fit the bill of what we sort of assume we're going to get occasionally from a Des Moines Public Schools team where they haven't been there in a while. They seemed inexperienced. They weren't making great decisions. They got 2 red cards in the second half to go down, play 2 men down. And I say that all this wearing my Des Moines Wanderers hat in support of my boy Big Daddy Ream. I would love to see Roosevelt Valley at some point for all sorts of reasons, but Landon Benj, whew,
Yeah. I think he must. Hopefully, he's listening to the pod and when talking about player.
I hope so.
Player of the year, that guy is put
Showing
a stamp
up when it
on
matters.
I think.
Showing
Yeah.
up when it matters. 2 good goals. He's a handful. But I would also say that Ankeny is susceptible, right? Defensively.
Yeah, but I would say though it's not a penalty. So you look at it, Ben. If it's 2-0, you're like,
I
man, they
agree. I
finally
didn't think
kept
it was
it
a
clean
penalty
and
either,
did
I just
really
think
well.
they're susceptible. Ankeny, they gave up chances. They gave up opportunities all game, and we've seen them play in person, and they give up 4 goals, and I just think they'll give goals up. So if you're playing them, you just got to know you got to outscore him. And Landon Bench, he's good for a couple if you give him chances, right? Yeah, I guess I got a little cheer from the peanut gallery here. One of the few teams to keep him quiet was the Lincoln Rail Splitters, and they didn't keep him fully quiet. They held him to 1. I don't know how many. I mean that goes back to like the Dowling Catholic thing though. Like how many people held Johnny Mendez scoreless this year?
Johnston.
I mean literally that's it. I mean, and Valley won. They shut him out at some point. Just got to remember that. But
So again, I love the semifinal battle, right? Ankeny against Valley. Valley
be an
wins
interesting one.
3-1 earlier in the season.
Let's talk big upset of the night. Easily the biggest upset of the night. Ames,
You
Little
think so?
Cyclones. Oh yeah. You think it? What do you think it is?
I mean, Cedar Rapids, the 8 over the 1. Cedar Rapids, Washington.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just mean in 4A. I think
Oh,
the
I
4A
apologize,
upset. No,
Ben.
you're right. The overall
Sorry.
upset, let's go CR Washington, 100%. But I think Ames in 4A, no offense to Coach McGowan and Coach Corriere, I was not expecting the Little Cyclones to squeeze it out. I thought Iowa City High was on a tear. We'd had reports from several folks that Iowa City High was going to be tough to beat.
I think they were really
We know
good
they're really
tonight,
well
too.
coached. Just sounds like Ames. So like I remember Ames. Do you remember in the early 2000s, Steves, when they were known for like beating teams just like 1-0 and like just kind of hunkering down and dealing with it?
Yeah, Chad Zmolik was the coach, right? And they played on that little
They'd have
postage
they-
stamp of the field.
They
and-
do, yeah, they do a 10 behind the ball and Chase Winkie up top or Justin McGinney up top, and they do really well at that. I don't know if this is how it went, but they scored early off of a corner kick.
within the first 2 minutes.
First 5, last 5, baby.
I think Joel Martinez or Joel Martinez was the scorer.
Is it Joel or Joel?
I don't know, Ben. That's why I said both, so I covered everything. Because you don't know either. So yeah, no. But again, impressive win, right? Traveling over to Iowa City for Ames, playing on the massive grass field of the Hawkeyes.
Well,
and good result.
And sets up an interesting matchup against Johnston. Johnston not able to handle the Ames Little Cyclones early in the season and lost 1-0. So Ames right now has beaten Valley. They've beaten Johnston.
Is that the fixture? It's Johnston Ames.
Yes.
At 5 p.m. on Thursday.
And then we saw Ames play Ankeny, and Ames lost 6-4. But I guess I'm just saying, man, I mean, I was definitely picking an orange team to win, I guess. And now I'm wondering, I mean, I still think Valley's going to do it, but Ames is looking pretty good.
Man, I think Johnston's just on a roll now. They're peaking at the right time. You know what I mean? Like that is a
That's a big
statement
win.
win.
That's a big win. But is it too big of a win? Is it like scoring too early? You know, like you get a little excited. Are they going to come into the game just thinking they're like hot stuff?
I will say Frizzell will humble those boys a little bit, rightly or wrongly. He won't let them get too big of a head. And I mean, we got to Titan. We're talking Johnston here. Your favorite boys.
Yeah, Matt, you get to repick now that your Dowling Catholic has been heftily booted out of the event here.
You've never picked Johnston, so what are you
switch-
doing?
Do you switch to my side and go Tigers?
I've always given honest pick. I've just been wrong, but but Johnston will beat Ames. I think handedly, like that's. I think that's just what'll happen. I mean, yikes! If 5-0 was, I mean, because I think Dowling's considerably better than Ames. I like Ames. They're a good team, but we saw them play it against Ankeny, and they've definitely knocked off good teams like. Like Valley at the very beginning of the year. So, I mean, I wouldn't discount them, but I would give Johnston the edge in that game by a large margin, especially based on what we saw tonight. So I think they're obviously the beneficiary of this reseeding silliness. I mean, if they had to go play Valley next, it's totally different now, right? Now they get a statement win tonight. They should win the game against Ames, which means they should be back in the final for a three-peat, which is pretty cool for those guys. So I'm absolutely picking Johnston. The thing that sucks for those boys is I'm usually wrong about the games. So, I hope they win though. I love it when Johnson's in the tournament because they
bring it.
consistently bring it and they consistently perform when it matters. And tonight was no different. I mean, where was Mendez tonight? We don't know because they shut him down.
He's
You
in
know,
somebody's
which
back
is
pocket.
which is exactly what they needed to do. And then they slammed a bunch of goals in the back of the net. So
Well, let's not take away too much from Johnny Mendez's season because it's been great. He's performed at a high level, and I mean he's dragged those boys all the way to the quarterfinal on his back. So good luck to him next fall at Drake. I'm excited to see Landon Benge do it in the semifinal here. Although unlucky for him that he's coming up against my Tigers. What else, boys?
It's exciting. It's exciting for sure. We got 2 days coming up of boys semifinals Wednesday, Thursday. Matt,
I'm just looking at Valley Ankeny. Who did you guys pick for that?
Valley.
Oh, you picked Valley.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
think
that could be like a 6-4, 6-5 game.
Valley's not giving up 4 goals.
Yeah, Benj is like Benj is a man. Like
Yeah.
he is on a roll right now.
Good.
I
that
think
boy
it's going to be a
is-
Johnston Valley final, but Benj is
Can we like I'm gonna get my orange jersey out. Blake's gonna have his purple jersey on. It'll be great.
all right.
All right. Regardless,
Swing by if you're down at MediaCom. Swing by. We'll have a spot across the behind the goal there, in
Yeah.
the parking lot. Swing over.
if you come on the right time, Thursday, Friday, we'll have pizza. We've got free tickets for.
I drove by Pep's
Kids.
Pizzeria today, by the way. Good little spot over there at 86th and Meredith.
They're our
Brand
sponsor
new.
for Play of the Week, and they're going to be joining us over there at the state tournament, MediaCom.
We'll have some Menace tickets to give away.
Yeah.
It'll definitely be a good time.
Hit us up if you want to know where we're going to be, or just join us across the street from the stadium.